business, and now it's time to retire and just relax. At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121, or visit tworld.com today.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
It's the Good Greek Spiro. For the best move ever, go to goodgreek.com.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo!
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Good afternoon, everybody. Russo and Rizzo, a Tuesday edition, 10th of December. Thick of the winter season upon us. Over here in West Palm Beach, where it's 82 degrees out. Talk about a winter season, Florida style. Summer season, really. But the Tuesday edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. My name is Colin Russo. Joined alongside me, of course, Mike Rizzo, as always, with Christian Cat behind the glass. We're at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Live from 4 to 6 today. Packed program ahead. Bill Belichick. I guess all steps are firing towards him taking that UNC head coach vacancy on the college football side of things. Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, Chicago Bears turmoil. Bengals back in the win column. They took down the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football last night on ESPN. With the Simpsons Bowl as well, for those who watched it, the seldom few. Fun little Tuesday we have ahead of us. Did you tune into The Simpsons?
I did. It was fantastic. I loved every second of it. They had the pig at one point. CCAT, I'm a looping CCAT at one point. They had the pig as a football. I thought it was so cool.
The pig?
Yeah, I didn't watch.
What do you mean the pig?
Guys,
oh, like the normal pig?
Guys,
the pig that he has on the...
Guys, we loved The
Spider
Simpsons.
Pig.
We loved...
Yes, Spider Pig. That's it.
We loved The Simpsons broadcast last night. Say it with me. We loved The Simpsons broadcast.
So you watched The Simpsons broadcast?
I did. It was fun.
All right.
They had Krusty the Clown kick a field goal. It was amazing. It was reminiscent of the Toy Story one. It was reminiscent of the SpongeBob one. It was a lot of fun.
Were you nostalgic?
Mina Kimes.
Were you
a little bit. You know, I'm like right on the edge of Simpsons guy. I nonetheless was more Family Guy than Simpsons, but I saw the Simpsons movie growing up. It was awesome. It's funny.
Like the Simpsons movie.
They're funny, and honest to God, I think it's cool when ESPN and Disney, when they do stuff like this. They're stepping out of the comfort zone. They're stepping out of the box and trying something new, and it did great. It did great. So I'm really happy for that, and honest to God, I really liked it.
Were you able to get a feel for the game? You understood what was going on?
You know, I had something on the side too, but nonetheless, you know, they would say, you know, Mike Gesicki, they'd say their name.
It gives you a representation of what's going on in the field. You're able to follow along what's going on in the field?
Yes.
All right. So for the Simpsons broadcast that happened, I think on ESPN 2 last night between the Bengals and the Cowboys, that's part of the reason why they couldn't flex out that game out of Monday Night Football slot a month and a half ago, is because they were already preparing for the Simpsons broadcast between the Bengals and the Cowboys, anticipating that it would be a bigger game than it actually was. But in the meantime, the true story of the day comes out of the college football realm of things / the NFL. Bill Belichick, we heard rumors about it about this time last week that he was having discussions with UNC. All signs are pointing now to these talks escalating and that it is closer to a done deal than people want to give it credit for, and that Bill Belichick might actually be the University of North Carolina next head coach. And there's a whole story that we'll break it down, but my initial reaction, you almost don't even want to believe it.
No.
Because it just doesn't seem real. That's Bill Belichick we're talking about.
Correct.
Coaching University of North Carolina.
And I allude back to the record, how he wants to break, you know, Coach Shula's record and be the all-time winningest coach in NFL history. Why do I think this, if this is real, I realistically see Bill at North Carolina till he gets an NFL job so he can hand it off to his son. Would you agree with that? Would you agree with that?
That's what people have been reporting. So that's all I could get off of that is what people have said.
I think Belichick,
I can't hypothesize.
Belichick, in my opinion, still has a fast track back to the NFL. I think it's more likely that he goes to an NFL team, Colin, than goes to North Carolina. But I think there's also a world where he could sell North Carolina on his son being the head coach and having the structure still be in place. Because you pointed the structure out on how he wants to make it like a professional team. He's going to hire general managers.
I have the quote for you. So Bill Belichick was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday talking about how he would run a college football program if, capital letters, if he were to be given a college football program. He said the college football program would be a pipeline to the NFL for players that had the ability to play in the NFL. It would be a professional program, training, nutrition, scheme, coaching techniques that would transfer to the NFL. It would be an NFL program at the college level and an education that would get the players ready for their career after football. It would be all geared towards developing the player. So he would try to, since college is turning more to the professional side, he's going to lean into this. And since nobody knows how to run a professional program better than Belichick, that's what he would try to implant into UNC.
I don't know how much his heart would be in college. I think it would be sooner rather than later that his son took over the operation. I go back to the whole Shula record. There's no secret Belichick wants to get back to the NFL. If he feels like his fast track back to the league, which is crazy, talking about his 6-time Super Bowl winning coach. If he thinks his fast track back to the league is with North Carolina and proving to people he can still coach football, fair play to him. But I think there's a team that's going to offer him in the NFL.
Well, it's a matter of if he doesn't want the job.
Of time.
Maybe he doesn't think the Saints are worth it. Maybe he doesn't think the Jags are worth it. Maybe he's not being allotted the power. The Eagles are not firing their coach. Maybe he doesn't like the Cowboy job.
Let me ask you this, Colin. Does this feel like Belichick still wants power? To me, it does. To me, it
Absolutely.
does. To me, this seems like if Belichick were to take an NFL job, he'd still want general manager duties, and he'd want head coach duties, draft duties. He'd want all of it. Because the proposal you just told me is, fast-tracking players of the league, player development, they're hiring general managers and whatnot. This seems like Belichick is still a bit power-hungry. And if we remember, what was it, last offseason when he was looking for a job, he kind of bowed out and said, hey, I'll just be a head coach, and nobody wanted him still.
So Ollie Connolly, whoever this is a writer for The Guardian. And I don't know the reputation of this source, but I will plug him nonetheless. He said, per sources, that he was told that Bill Belichick's negotiations with North Carolina includes a guarantee of Steve Belichick, his son, current defensive coordinator for University of Washington, would be named the school's head coach in waiting. UNC would be open to this guarantee, and the discussions are not a bid to gain leverage for NFL offers, and Bill Belichick is open to the move.
We talked in the pre-show meeting. Who else would North Carolina get, Colin?
Well, the thing is,
who on the level of Bill Belichick could North Carolina get? They would go for,
North Carolina is a big job.
I'm not saying it's
go
not.
Get an up-and-comer. That's a big job.
I'm not saying it's not. But you're known more for being a basketball school. I don't think they have anything to lose. If Belichick realistically wanted to go there, I don't think they have anything to lose, and they should do it. Now, they did just do the Mac Brown thing, right? They did just do the Mac Brown experiment, former successful coach. I know Mac Brown, not NFL, Colin. But they did go former successful coach already. Maybe they do want the young and up-and-comer, no? I don't know. A lot of options here.
Well, if this Ollie Connolly is any shred of truth to what he is saying, then Ollie Connolly has said that Bill Belichick handed the school a 400-page, quote-unquote, organizational Bible with structure, payment plans, staffing choices, and the decisions depend on whether he commits to UNC or not. He would need a write-off from the AD, the chancellor, the trustees, and boosters, and it would require, quote-unquote, historic levels of investment from the school, include salary minimums, position by position, a willingness to hire two different staffs, one a coaching staff that's ran by Belichick, and another a recruitment staff run by a sitting college general manager that they would buy out from another school.
Wow.
So that is...
I mean, that's money, too.
That's a lot of money allotted to this. But to the point that you just brought up is if UNC is serious about elevating their program. I know it's a good job, and I know somebody else might also do a good job in that position. If you really want to, bring some buzz to North Carolina, this might be the move.
Yeah, and
if Bill Belichick is willing to give you 3-4 years, enough to really turn around a program quickly, and who knows how long he'd be there. But he'd put together a good staff. He might coach circles around other coaches because we know how great he is. But if he can handle this recruitment side of things and put together a structured program where he has a lot of power there, who is UNC to say no? What have they done as a football program to allow them to say no to something like this?
Can Belichick relate to the current college athlete and recruit the current college
Absolutely,
athlete?
because he's the ultimate developer for the NFL. That's the goal. All of these players, that's the ultimate recruiting pitch. I will get you to the NFL. You will learn things playing for me that will automatically translate to the NFL level. So that is his sell. And he's going to have NIL because UNC is a lucrative school. The academic requirements are there, I understand. He's going to have a pretty decent recruiting margin in terms of geographically. North Carolina, he's got the South right there. It's in the ACC. It's an attainable conference. It's a historic school. Now it's a matter of if UNC is going to allot this much power to a 72-year-old head coach who has never coached in college before. But for those that disagree with this, 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. If you agree with UNC investing this amount into Bill Belichick, or if you disagree with UNC investing in Bill Belichick, whether it's true or not, we're just exercising the argument. Let us know, 888-760-3776. At this point, UNC might not be in a position to renegotiate something like this.
Right. And I understand, Colin, 5-star high school athletes is different than drafting players in the NFL draft. I really don't know if Belichick can relate to the college player. I think he can relate to the pros because he's done it his whole life. I mean, I'd have to look it up. Has Belichick even coached college? I don't know off the top of my head.
No, he started out in the NFL.
So I question that, if he could relate to an 18-year-old, if he could relate to a 19-year-old in 2024. But I still think it's worth the risk if you're North Carolina. You're a basketball school. You've never really been known for football. I'm not saying it's not a big job, Colin. It is a big job. It's Division I. It's in the ACC. And you have a chance to go to the college football playoff year in and year out with that bid. But those are my questions with Belichick. The recruiting aspect, relating to the players, and if he could actually run a college operation, because he's just been so entrenched with the NFL and the professional side of it.
Absolutely. There's definitely cause for concern to whether a Bill Belichick ran system, which is old school and a little bit more hard-nosed and in your face comparatively to some college programs that you have to cater to these guys. But to the same point, for those who do buy into that program, there's no doubt in my mind that Belichick will prepare them for the NFL level. There should be no doubt in anybody's mind.
Right. Who
cares if he gets the fifth round or the 5-star receiver, if that guy's going to transfer after a semester, because he does that at every other school anyway.
Do you want to know what point fascinates me, partner, is the pro style thing? If it is the quote-unquote fast track to the NFL, you could see the top prospects go there. You could, but I feel like he's got to prove it first.
Well, I mean,
I think he'll get the 3-star, 4-star.
It's the brand sells itself. It's like the pushback is this. How did Deion Sanders revolutionize Colorado?
Because he's prime.
Because he's a big brand. He's a big name. He's established. He's reputable. He's a great player. He's got the kids with him. That's one thing, but he's got an established reputation. Bill Belichick is not, I know, similar to Prime in terms of personality, but in terms of brand and reputation, as up there. How much money did Deion bring to that program, win or lose? I think Belichick would do a lot of the same. People would be showing up to those games. There would be a buzz about UNC football. Isn't that what they're looking for?
Yeah, it's exactly what they're looking for, and to be relevant in the conversation. And I feel like they see the 12-team playoff and some of the teams that made it, like SMU. I think they're looking directly at SMU going, we can be SMU.
Yeah, and we could just be a channel for NFL talent. 888-760-3776 is the number to get into the program. Should UNC invest this money in Belichick? Are you buying it? Let us know. 888-760-3776. We shift to Boynton. Phil and Boynton, you're joining us now on Russo and Rizzo. Phil, what's on your mind?
How you doing, brother? Listen, Didn't he coach at Navy at one point? Belichick?
I'll look that up. I that's why I asked. I wasn't too sure about Belichick's pass in college, but let me.
I don't think it's enough of a sell, but what do you think here, Phil? Do you think it's worth the investment or not?
Yeah, it could be, but I think he ought to go to Chicago Bears. Would you?
But you think the Bears would give him that job? You think the Bears want him in that position?
Yeah, because they with Williams, they need somebody to guide them and mentor them.
All right.
And Belichick will do that.
And last thing here, Phil, do you think Belichick would be good at the college level?
I believe that, yeah, give it, you guys, the people got to start giving these guys a little more opportunity instead of, one season and done. It takes, especially when it bounces back and forth with this portal. But, yeah, I think once he gets a split settled down and get into it, yeah.
All right. Good call, Phil
Yeah.
and Boynton.
And by the way, Kyle, Belichick has never.
I thought he started at the NFL level.
Belichick has never coached in college, but he has spent ample time in the last year around the University of Washington's program, obviously where his son Steve serves as the Huskies defensive coordinator.
888-760-3776. That's the number to get into the program. UNC inching closer to hiring Bill Belichick. Should UNC make this investment? Bunch of demands on Belichick's side, including his son Steve Belichick being the head coach in waiting. We continue with the phone lines. Joe and Jupiter, you're on Russo and Rizzo. Joe, what's on your mind?
So, guys, first of all, diehard Cowboys fan, as you know, and I'd hate to see it happen because I would hope that he would be on the sidelines for us next year. Because there's going to be somebody else besides McCarthy. But
fair enough.
We all agree with that. But as a UNC fan that I'm not, I promise you, people will be paying attention to that school a lot more than they are, just like Deion in Colorado, if he gets on the sidelines. And one thing I heard today, which is a great point, and you also made a great point earlier, he would prepare these kids for the NFL better than probably anybody could, if that's what they want to do. And he's not going to have to travel the country to go sit in front of parents at 18 and 19-year-olds to try to convince them to come there because his resume is already set. I mean, he might do some of it, but he's not going to have to travel the world to convince these recruits to come there. Just his name is going to say it, I would think. I'm sure he's going to want to meet the parents. I don't know how that goes, but for North Carolina, I think it's a huge move. If they do that, I'd hate to see it, but that's my take. I don't know anything about North Carolina Tar Heels football, but I'd be paying attention if he was there for sure.
Joe, you think he could relate to the NIL athlete in college football?
I think he could because he's got two sons,
Okay.
Two, maybe three. He might have three.
I just nonetheless, yeah, Joe, I know how much of a no-nonsense guy Belichick is. And, these are, I say kids, they're 18 and 19-year-olds. But these are kids. These aren't the NFL locker rooms that he's used to. That's my only, hey, I think it'd be a great hire, but is he going to be able to get through to the kids?
People thought they couldn't deal with Deion, too. That was another thing. Deion came in. He said, if you don't want this, get out.
Point well taken.
So,
he just, when he goes on ESPN broadcast now, he's so much more personal than he was on the sideline. So I think that might translate to these young men. And then watch out for the Mavericks, by the way. 7 in a row, going for 8 tonight.
Yeah, Colin had to remind me. So it's funny you say that, Joe. I actually, my sister works for the team. She yelled at me. I took the under on their season. And I go, oh, Colin, they're on track. Then he goes, Riz, they're like 15-8. They're like 16-8. So, yeah, I was the idiot today.
They're starting to gel right now. Theo Dorsey said, I think they're peaking too early because we were tweeting earlier, not today, but a couple days. They might be tweeting. They might be peaking too early. I said, no, I think they're just starting to come together.
Well, Joe, no one tries in that league until about March or April anyway. It's all about staying above water.
I know. You heard it a couple days ago. I'm calling it.
All right.
They're going to be there.
Yeah, maybe they will. All right, appreciate the call, Joe. That was Joe in Jupiter. 888-760-3776. We'll continue with the phone lines next. First, I want to hear what Evan Cohen had to say of Unsportsmanlike, which you could hear on these very airwaves, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern on weekdays. Evan Cohen on Bill Belichick potentially to UNC as head coach.
I think that if Bill Belichick takes over at UNC, if he's there for 5 years, I think he will set, and UNC will set the all-time record for players drafted in one draft in the NFL. I think that's the easiest thing to predict in the world, because there will be countless NFL teams that will say, if that guy started for Bill Belichick for 3 years, I don't care what his numbers look like. He's got to be good enough to play special teams for us. I bet you they're going to set all-time records for players drafted just like the way he would do. He would take only Saban guys or Shiano guys or whatever it may be.
So that was Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike saying that he believes that the North Carolina would start to dominate the NFL draft scene just based off the Belichick allure, period. I tend to disagree with this because of the fact, how do you even know that North Carolina is, number one, going to be any good? And number two, how have the Patriots players been outside of Belichick systems?
I was just about to say that.
They haven't been great.
And also, I think the NFL spoke loud and clear on what they think about Bill Belichick right now. He didn't get hired as a coach. I think
that's an NFL problem more than a Belichick problem, but I understand the point.
And Evan knows I love him. I just disagree. I don't think the NFL holds Belichick to the regard they did 5 years ago. Would you agree with that?
Probably not. No. Okay. Ever since post Brady, yeah, he's taken the legacy is taking a bit of a hit.
And I know, and you guys could disagree with me as well. I don't know if he could relate to that college player, and I don't know if he's going to be getting top recruits year in and year out. I got to see it. I got to. If this comes to fruition, I'm going to have to see it to believe it with Belichick. Number one, making the decision to go to school at North Carolina and coach. And number two, recruit the athlete.
888-760-3776 is the number to get into the program. Belichick potentially to UNC. Would be a monumental hire on the ACC side of things, but more importantly, would kind of shake up the NFL coaching searches as well. Would this be the proper investment for UNC, or would this be a bit of a misfire in putting all your eggs, literally all of your eggs, into the Belichick basket as a 72-year-old? We shift to Lake Worth. Kevin in Lake Worth joins us on Russo Rizzo. Kevin, what do you got for us?
Hey, guys. So, yeah, if you're UNC, you take the chance. I just don't see it being like this end-all, be-all like Evan Cohen just made out. I disagree with Evan on that point. Like, Nick Saban is well-respected and highly regarded, and it wasn't like every single year Nick Saban had 25 guys just because they started for Nick Saban were getting drafted, right? He got a lot of them. I'm not saying he didn't, but it wasn't like this abnormal amount just because it was Nick Saban. And, I listened to Jay Williams talk about it earlier on ESPN radio, and he brought up a point where, Coach K would bring, assistant coaches, old players, and send them to recruits' houses. And the one thing that they would always bring back was, that's great, we want to hear from Coach K. So then Coach K would have to go out and talk to the player to seal the deal. If an 18-year-old kid is telling Steve Belichick to go get his dad to come talk to him, I don't think Bill Belichick's going to really like that. It just doesn't seem like he has that temperament to be like, oh, yeah, let me go fly out to Kansas to go talk to this 4-star offensive lineman and try to sell him on playing with me.
So, yeah, you don't think you'd see Belichick, I guess he would be the king at the top of the throne that doesn't necessarily leave the castle and being the big monarch of the group at UNC. You don't think he'd get out, be a foot soldier, and go seal a deal?
You don't see Bill Belichick standing behind a recruit and dancing behind him like Chip Kelly with the camera going in a circle for LSU?
No. Quite frankly, no.
And I mean, for as well as Deion's doing in Colorado, he's not doing that either. Like he's going after the 5-star guy, that's the 5-star quarterback, and he got Travis Hunter. He's getting some top recruits because he's talking to them and he's selling Deion. But I mean, what's the problem with Colorado? They don't have a very good offensive line, and their defensive line isn't good. Deion's not going to the offensive lineman and defensive lineman and selling them on Deion. He's going to the quarterbacks, the position players, and selling them on Deion. So, I mean, maybe it flips and Belichick loves his defensive players and he'll go out of his way for a defensive guy. But even with a good example in Deion, you're seeing not the 100% effort in recruiting.
Yeah, I agree. Good call, Kevin.
Thanks, Kev.
I appreciate it. The one thing I would say to that is to Deion, you're right. He sells position players and quarterbacks on Deion because Deion, to some degree, better than most, can guarantee that he will prepare them for the NFL level, at least corners, receivers, and and quarterbacks better than other coaches can. To Belichick's point, there's not a lot of people that could say that they would develop a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, a linebacker better than Bill Belichick probably could. I think if Belichick were to struggle in some sense, it would be to get the position players. I think if Belichick were to struggle in terms of the recruiting cycle of things, it would be to get the skill position guys comparatively to, I guess, the meaty guys down below. And he would get his quarterback because there's 1,000 of them, and he just needs a guy to manage a game.
Right.
But I know we're hypothesizing a little too much, but to the point of selling him on Dion, they would sell them on Belichick. All right, well, you thought Dion had a pedigree because he's a player. How about Belichick as a coach? It's different. It remains to be seen whether it would work, but with the transfer portal and how many guys are available consistently, all you need is 22.
Right, and I go back to what our fearless leader, Evan Cohen, said. I don't think NFL teams are just going to be lining up because Belichick coached them. There's going to have to be some kind of success on the field. This isn't the Bill Belichick that's fresh off of winning Super Bowl title after Super Bowl title.
Yeah.
This is the Bill Belichick that mutually agreed with the New England Patriots to step down as head coach and then, couldn't get a job in the NFL once he stepped away from the Patriots. So it's a we'll see basis for me as far as Belichick
there's going to be intrigue. It's
there
intrigue
is.
and curiosity. It's not going to be let's confirm and let's just draft every guy that goes through the system.
Yeah, it's no Colin. It's not going to be oh my God, Belichick loves this guy. We got to draft him. That's not the case anymore.
Because people don't view that with even the New England draft picks
right,
as well.
Right.
Belichick had his guys that nobody else agreed on, and Belichick sometimes swung and missed on these guys.
How bad? And let's be honest, all right, and I like Bill, for the record. I know it sounds like I'm picking on Bill. I really do like Bill Belichick. I think he's the greatest coach of all time. With that said, the back end of the Patriots was a disaster. Mac Jones was good for a year and then folded like a lawn chair, and some of the draft picks are sitting there going, they took who? They took what? So I think the allure of Belichick in the NFL isn't there right now, and I think it's clear because he's not coaching in the NFL.
Now, college sports is a coach's sport. We'll continue the conversation next. UNC might entering the final stages, perhaps, allegedly, based on reports that Bill Belichick might be the next head coach with a bunch of stipulations, including his son being the waiting head coach. And a 400-page structural organizational document that would make UNC basically an NFL factory that would best prepare collegiate athletes for the next level, including a college recruitment side of things and a coaching staff side of things. Is this the right investment for UNC? We'll do that. We'll do a little bit of Bears and the power dynamic struggle there. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen for the Accident Attorneys, Anajar and Levine. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Did you get injured on the job? Workers' comp problems? My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. Remember, they do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation you know you deserve. Here's what you do. You just call. Call Anajar and Levine for your absolutely free consultation. Do not settle for just any attorneys. Demand Anajar and Levine, and demand the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to begin to take back control of your life. So do that. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's. That means it's time to save big on your next job. Right now, get your choice of 5-gallon pails of Valspar Signature Ceiling Paint or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Flat Ceiling Paint for just $148. Plus, get it delivered to your job site with free same-day delivery when you order by 2 p.m. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Valid through 12/20. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Theo here. EDS is yes. You've heard me say that over and over. So I need you to keep this website in mind too. EDSisyes.com. For the most trusted AC specialist here in Palm Beach County, EDSisyes.com. For 24/7 support, EDS is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. There are so many reasons why EDS is yes when it comes to your air conditioning and plumbing. EDSisyes.com. That's EDSisyes.com.
Finished with holiday decorations and need affordable gifts for everyone? Advanced Discount South Florida Fair tickets are filled with fun and make great gifts.
South Florida Fair discount tickets are on sale now at Publix and online at southfloridafair.com. Fair opens January 17th in West Palm Beach.
In the building.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Bill Belichick might be locked, signed, sealed, delivered to the college side of things, as reports are saying that he is nearing further conversations, a deal perhaps with University of North Carolina, the head coach vacancy there in college football. Bill Belichick coaching a college football program, coming up with his own NIL side of things, coming up with his own coaching staff, being sort of the head honcho of a football program. Maybe that's what Bill wanted all along, is just power, power, and power. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We're live from the City Play Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat helping us out behind the glass. As always, it's a Tuesday edition, December the 10th. We had Monday Night Football last night. But more importantly, Bill Belichick perhaps going to UNC. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. Bill Belichick, UNC. Is this a proper investment to give Belichick basically everything he wants and then just let him go? Or should UNC reconsider this? Is this something that's destined to fail? Let us know. 888-760-3776. Before we get to the audio of Bill Belichick on Pat McAfee's show, last night, Monday Night Football, Bengals Cowboys.
Yeah, history.
If you're a Simpsons fan, this is your Christmas.
Colin, history was made. Christian and Colin, history was made on the Homer Simpson threw a touchdown. Homer Simpson threw a doggone touchdown. So, folks, if you missed it last night, the alternate cast was The Simpsons on Monday Night Football. And during the game, Homer threw a touchdown pass, and people took to Twitter. People were saying on Twitter, Homer Simpson with the, this is Kyle on Twitter, Homer Simpson with the dart to CeeDee Lamb. Quarterback controversy brewing in Dallas? And then another one, Icy on Twitter says Homer Simpson has more touchdown passes than the Giants did this week with a dead face emoji. It was a tremendous success last night. The numbers were great. You know, we've seen them do this in the past before with Toy Story, with SpongeBob. You had the Nickelodeon slime game all those years ago. To me, Colin and C-Cat, it's crazy what they could do with technology. It's crazy that, like, they could have Simpson players become actual NFL players on the field. I mentioned earlier in the show, Christian, what's the pig? The pig from Simpson again?
I don't think this is his real name, but in the Simpsons movie, they call him Spider Pig.
Right, and the Spider Pig was the football for a play. So not only did Homer Simpson throw a touchdown, the pig was the football at one point. You know, pig skin. I thought that was pretty cool. And then they did like their introductions in the broadcast as well. So, folks, I'm always down to these alternative casts and these fun substitutions for maybe people that aren't NFL fans to get into the game more. As I said, the numbers did great, and I was super, super excited to watch that game last night. Once again, Homer Simpson throwing a touchdown on Monday Night Football. History was made.
Nice. History was made. Let's take a listen to Bill Belichick on the prospect of running a college football program, as said on the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
Coach, Pat, can I just interject two things in here? Yes. One,
sure.
Let me put this in capital letters. If.
Yeah.
IF. If I was in a college program, the college program would be a pipeline to the NFL for the players that had the ability to play in the NFL. It would be a professional program, training, nutrition, scheme, coaching, techniques that would transfer to the NFL. It would be an NFL program at a college level and an education that would get the players ready for their career after football, whether that was the end of their college career or at the end of their pro career. But it would be, geared toward, developing the player, time management, discipline, structure, and all that would be life skills, regardless of whether they're in the NFL or in somewhere in business. And I feel very confident that I have the contacts in the National Football League to pave the way for those players that would have the ability to have the opportunity to compete in the National Football League. Whether they're good enough or not, I don't know, but they would be ready for it. I don't have any doubt about that. That would be the first comment that I would make, relative to the structure of the program. It would be an NFL program, but not at the NFL level.
So that's fascinating. That's Bill Belichick on the Pat McAfee show talking about the prospect of him potentially running a college football program. Said a couple interesting things there. He said he has enough contacts in the NFL to get a guy drafted whether or not he was ready. So non-NFL players getting drafted in the NFL just because Bill Belichick has the contacts of NFL front offices.
It's like Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, it's like, I will get you an interview. Right. I will get you on a practice squad. I guess that is sort of the idea behind that. But from what I see, from what my initial, I know this is just an elevator pitch from Bill Belichick, and you got to take it with a grain of salt. It sounds like he has the right idea down in terms of developing young men. At a pro level, it's a little different. It's getting the most out of your players. From the college side of things, it's developing. But to the same token, you got to develop and you got to win.
That's what I was going to be calling. My big takeaway from that is I hope Bill is aware that there has to be success attached to him and coaching.
12 games every year. You're going to have to win 10 of them.
This isn't just, all right, I'm a college football coach. We could lose 8 games, but I'm still going to get guys in the NFL. It's not really and normally how this works unless you're just a freak athlete. And I got to see it all to believe it first. Once again, I apologize to our fearless leader, Evan Cohen. I couldn't disagree more. I don't think people are just going to draft players that are with North Carolina because of Bill Belichick. They have to have some success, and they have to look the part.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating that it was less about the winning side of things when mostly all the trustees and board guys and the guys who are going to give you the money, they don't care if your guys are drafted. They care about if you win at the college level. So, yes, appealing to the player, that's where you appeal to the recruit. I will get you to the NFL. I will develop you the right way. There will be structure. There will be discipline. You will be in the right scheme. You will be in the right mindset. You will be around the right people, and you will be put in the best position possible to be a professional football player. But on the other side of things, how do you sell the boosters? Well, we got to win games. How do you know that you can win games at a college level? It's a different game. So off of that alone, makes me a little nervous. But if you're UNC, you don't really have a lot of backup plans here that rival the prospect, the intrigue, and probably the excitement that would come with a Bill Belichick hire.
I'm going to ask you again. Can Belichick get through to a college kid? Because what I just listened to on the McAfee show, I think kids could tone out Belichick.
I disagree. I think I'm more sold on his ability to connect to a college kid because he talked about the discipline, the structure, preparing you for life after football, and putting you in the right position to succeed. If anything, that was more of a elevator pitch to the player than it was to any sort of booster, administrator, or athletic director.
I would say 99% of the guys that go into college football are either dumb enough to believe that they are an NFL player already, that they will be in the NFL in 4 years, and if Belichick's my ride, I want to commit to him because, NIL money is certainly nice, and this nice college
and UNC will have it. UNC will have it. There's no doubt about that.
But if you can almost guarantee that I'm going to be playing professional football because I go to your school, that's a massive tool, and he can back it up.
It's like Deion. Deion's like, I'm going to find my 22.
he can back it up till he can't, right?
Sure, the proof will be in the pudding. If he doesn't do it, he doesn't do it.
Yeah,
he can back it up till he can.
But this is about pedigree.
I told you guys this. I know it sounds like I'm picking on Belichick here. That was a little pompous the way he was in that interview. I guess you could do that when you're the greatest head coach in NFL history, but he's already acting like he's done it.
Sure, but
he's already acting like he's done it.
He's selling everybody, Mike. How else is he supposed to do it?
Get it?
How else is he supposed to do it?
You could do it in a different way than just,
Then what?
I know it. That's his way. I know that's how Belichick is.
Do it a different way. How? He's just saying. All he said was good things.
Like I think
he wasn't gloating. He didn't talk one thing about himself. He said the contacts he had. Maybe that was the thing I'd pick on. But ultimately, he was talking about the player developing to be an NFL player.
I think a college kid who already, as Seacat mentioned, thinks he's the best and he's going no matter what is looking at that guy and going, what the hell? It's tuning that guy out. That's my 2 cents on it.
Why?
It's because the way he sounded.
Well, how about there's 1,500 kids in the recruiting program.
The holier
maybe
than thou.
1,400
And listen, this is what I mean. I understand. Maybe it's because it's Bill Belichick, but it's the holier than thou that I got from that interview out of Bill.
I think Bill is holier than me. I'll be honest.
Bill is holier than any other college.
I'm not saying he's not.
That's the Deion way. That's what Deion did. Deion is, and Deion has way more, I guess, you want to talk about pompous, way more about that, the Deion way. We're Deion, we're Colorado, you're not, we're the brand.
And we have a problem with it.
So hold on, but it's a wildly large and insurmountable success story. Bill Belichick, on the other hand, is all business. And everybody knows he's all business. He has that reputation, number one.
Is that going to get through to an 18-year-old?
Why wouldn't it?
Okay.
Why? I don't understand you're not giving me any reason
They're
why.
getting paid now. The players are getting paid now.
Okay. They're going to pay it. It's the UNC's not. He didn't say in that elevator pitch that he's not going to pay you.
The players are getting paid money, and they're looking at this guy, and he's going to tell them to do something they don't want to do. And I don't know.
I think you're selling.
I don't know if the drill.
I don't know.
Athletes
a little short on their ability to listen to a coach.
Maybe I don't know if the whole drill sergeant thing's going to. The drill sergeant.
What was Saban?
Bill Belichick.
What was Saban?
Is going to work.
What was Saban? He was a drill sergeant. What is Deion in a lot of ways? He's a drill sergeant.
Saban backed it up though.
So
Belichick has backed it up in the NFL.
Okay, and that's all you have right now. So UNC, they're taking a flyer, but if there's somebody with a pedigree that can appeal to that, comparatively to the mid-level head coach that hasn't done it at the high level, it's a little different.
I think this is more for his son, personally.
Maybe.
I think this is more for his son.
But you're not doing this if you're Belichick. UNC is not signing off on this unless they get a guarantee behind closed doors that Belichick's going to do it for at least a couple years. Because they don't have to, unless there's a written contract with lawyers involved and everything, at the head coach in standing has to be Steve Belichick after a year, which I don't think UNC would put themselves in that position. They could always walk out on that if Bill Belichick does them wrong. He's going to do them right. You got to assume that, right?
Right. I maybe I just go back to how bad it ended in the NFL and how bad some of those Patriot teams were. And listen, when it's time to go, it's time to go. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to remember Bill Belichick for. I just know the last time I saw Belichick on the field, man, it's like, God, this is what it's turned into. College is a different story, too, an animal that he's never really dived into.
The one thing about Belichick is he's not going to be buried with some Patriots roster every year that he can't get out from under.
He built, though. Hold on. That he built.
Fine, but he's not going to be the only way. He's not the GM acting and standing, the only one making a decision on the recruiting side of things. College is a different animal. Yeah, you have your guys in the NFL, but you ultimately, that general manager decides which 6-7 guys total you are drafting each and every year. This time, he's got a 50-person draft. Every offseason, he's got a 50-person draft in that transfer portal, in that freshman class, that the turnover, a lot faster, and it's a little harder to develop in a shorter amount of time. But this isn't working. That isn't working. Learning curve is a little faster when you could adjust on the fly like that. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We'll continue the conversation, of course. We'll get into the Bears turmoil. Waddle and Sylvia on ESPN Chicago alluded to some sources that they had that there were reports that Ryan Poles, the general manager of the Chicago Bears, a bit unhappy, a bit of a disconnect between him and ownership due to Kevin Warren, of course, who is president of operations for the Chicago Bears, being a little bit of a middleman, being a little too involved, and ultimately a non-football guy getting in the way of football decisions. Bears have a power dynamic issue that's going to trickle down. We'll get into that next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Maximize your 2025 spring training at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium with a spring training mini plan. Pick up your 4-game Marlins mini plans, 4-game Cardinals mini plans, or 6-game mini plans for both the Marlins and the Cardinal games. Mini plan buyers get up to 10 tickets per game and get early access to marquee games like Cardinals Yankees on March 9th or Marlins Red Sox on March 14th. RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Juan Soto and the New York Mets agree to a 15-year, $767 million contract in what's believed to be the most lucrative deal in team sports history. ESPN on Sunday night first reported Soto's decision to leave Yankee Stadium for Citi Field. A familiar source with the negotiations confirmed to NBC News with the specifics of Soto's massive contract that now puts him atop the biggest name in pro sports. Shohei Ohtani did something similar in Los Angeles, leaving the Angels to go to the Dodgers for a big fee. This is the Sports Business Minute presented by the FAU MBA in Sport Management Program. Accelerate your career in sports with the program committed to developing top-notch executives and managers with a focus on the job placement for students and graduates. The FAU MBA in Sport Management Program.
Hey, this is the Fat Jack, and football season is here. Are you ready to make some money? Have you bet on sports before? That probably did not go great. I can help you make money. Go to fatjacksports.com and get dialed in to turn a profit. The picks are emailed to you. They're on your personal portal on the website, and you can pay less than $50 a week for longer packages to make money betting this football season. Fatjacksports.com, the only place you need to go. 100% transparent, and will turn you profit this season at fatjacksports.com.
Let's be honest. If your performance in the bedroom feels more like, uh-oh, than whoa, you're not alone. But don't worry, we've got just the thing for you. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend. No awkward doctor visits, no prescriptions or crazy side effects, just a powerful, easy-to-use pill that gets you back in the game. Hexus MD's new Performance Blend works in just 15 minutes, and it's stronger than the competition. Use discount code ESPN50 for 50% off your first order. Don't wait. Visit HEXISMD.com.
Banyan Printing and Signs wishes you a happy and healthy holiday season. Thank you for making Banyan your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 47 years. From A-frames to yard signs, business cards to booklets, and much more, plus a big announcement coming in 2025. Get started at banyanonline.com or by calling 561-586-6220. Happy holidays from Banyan Printing and Signs, the official printing partner of ESPN West Palm and Kaiser Athletics.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
A Tuesday edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, of course, helping us out behind the glass. Chicago Bears, one of the dumpster fires of the National Football League consistently, has been reported allegedly by Waddle and Sylvia on ESPN 1000 over in Chicago that there has been a power dynamic struggle between Ryan Poles, general manager, Kevin Warren, president of the team, and of course that sort of funneling of information between Poles, Kevin Warren, and the McCaskies, of course, the ownership. Fascinating that is, I guess, where the Bears are right now, because the Bears have a lot bigger problems than figuring out who can have the phone number to the owner.
It's why, dude.
Instead, figure out who your head coach is going to be and figure out your offense having a shred of consistency. That would be number one.
Covered this team for 3 years, Colin, and the biggest question was, well, how much power does Kevin Warren have? Is he involved on football operations side? I got my answer a year later, being here now in beautiful West Palm Beach. What a nightmare the Chicago Bears are once again. It's always structurally. It's always structurally that this team it is an absolute number. I mean, Ted Phillips is another name who was kind of lurking behind the shadow for years where no one understood what he did. You go back to the days of even Fox being in the building. Fox was always complaining, who is he supposed to report to? The Ryan before Ryan Poles, the GM there. It's always something with this football team. And Ryan Poles, from our understanding, from our contacts in Chicago, no names please, Ryan Poles was supposed to be reporting to the owner. Well, it turns out he had to report to Kevin Warren, who was Ryan Poles was apparently told Kevin Warren didn't have football powers. This is the junk. To Colin's point, this is the junk the Bears are worried about instead of winning football games, fixing Caleb Williams, and figuring out who the head coach is. And Kevin Warren is apparently picking the head coach who is not a football guy. Why are you having someone who doesn't know football pick who your next
or have
head
a
coach
major
is
say
be,
in it,
and have a major say in what is going on? Even when Kevin Warren was in the Big Ten, Colin, it was more or less about the bigger picture things. It wasn't about on the field play.
He's a business executive. That's what he is.
That's why the Bears are a nightmare, is because they have non-football people making decisions. It's always organizationally been a mess dating back to the Ted Phillips era. And the McCaskies can't seem to get out of their own way. For those who don't know, the McCaskies are the in-laws to Papa Bear Hallis. Virginia Hallis married George McCaskey's grandfather. That's why the McCaskey name is on the Bears and not the Hallis. A little Bears history for you guys.
So the problem with the Bears too,
it's
it's structural problems, but it's alignment. Everything needs to be in alignment in order to. We need to get to this. This is our goal, the Super Bowl. This is our goal to win the big one. How are we going to get there? There's about 9,000 different roads we could take to get to that goal. Now, if we're going to be on this giant bus together, we need one driver or four drivers that all know the way to get there. We need to we need to go on the same route. 4 or 5 guys. That's the alignment of an NFL franchise usually. Management, head coach, maybe an executive, ownership. Those are all the drivers of the franchise. They need to be on the same page, the same route. The Bears are not on that. They got 4 different guys going 4 different directions, taking 4 different turns, trying to figure out a way to get to the same spot that they've never been to, and they have no idea how to get there, and they're trying to figure it out on their own. That is the biggest problem with the Chicago Bears. And now, when you had Ryan Pace over at general manager, and that was a mess because Pace didn't have his coach in there, and the coach didn't have his general manager in there, and that general manager did not have his quarterback in there, and that coach did not have their quarterback. That quarterback did not have his coach. It's just never been in alignment.
And quarterbacks that Pace drafted, nonetheless, too. He drafted Mitchell Trubisky over
in 2017,
over Mahomes, and he drafted Justin Fields.
So these guys are not getting the quarterbacks they want. So that's number one. They're not getting the head coaches they want. The alignment is never in sync. And when it's not in sync, and now all of a sudden, before there's another crucial piece of the puzzle in that head coach, now we're still not in sync with the 2 or 3 players on the board in ownership, Kevin Warren, and Ryan Poles, the general manager of Chicago Bears.
Can I throw another wrinkle in there? You mentioned quarterback. Caleb Williams.
He's too young to have a say.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, you mentioned how the coach didn't want the quarterback and this and that. You got to find someone who is on board for the Caleb Williams project. I think he's still, and I know you agree with me, Colin, I think he's still a great prospect. I think he's going to be a great pro if they're able to get the right people in place. But you really do wonder with this organization, Colin. You really wonder if they're going to ruin this kid or not.
Yeah, and it's getting in your own way. What are they doing? Like, why are the fact that these articles and reports are coming out now, how do you think that helps your head coaching search? When there's a disconnect between the highest levels of management, Ben Johnson is not going to walk into an interview of the Bears with any sort of confidence because he sees this. He sees that Kevin Warren is here and he thinks this way, and the McCaskies think this way, and Ryan Poles is unhappy and might have not taken the job. That's what Waddle and Sylvie said, that Poles might not have taken the job if he had known that he would report to somebody like Kevin Warren.
And I want to make it clear, Kevin Warren, I know I said it earlier in the segment, but when Kevin Warren got hired, it was to build the stadium. Now he's making calls on the NFL side of things.
I don't hold on. I don't want to defend Ryan Poles till the cows come home. This is Kevin Warren might come in and he might do a good job because Kevin Warren has been successful in his career and he's been around the NFL and the whole thing. But the idea that it's not just that this is Ryan Poles being blackballed by his own ownership, because the Bears were a dumpster fire long before Ryan Poles, during Ryan Poles, and probably going to be a dumpster fire after Ryan Poles. The idea that there's just a misalignment. I can't put blame on either side. Whether one, you think that Kevin Warren is a non-football guy, more of an executive side that's really dipping his toes in the wrong fountain, or you think Ryan Poles thinks he should have more power than he actually is allotted, despite a pretty spotty up and down history. He was an Eberflus guy on the backside of it, so if you wanted to include that, you can. At this point, it's a matter of who do you blame, but the fact that we're at this point is a problem. This misalignment is a problem. This is going to hurt your head coaching search because of misalignment. The Bears need to figure this out. They need to figure this out.
I blame and it's sad because everything I've heard about the McCaskies, Colin, is it's such a great family they are, and they really are good owners. But the problem is they're not good owners on the football side of things, and they've created this structural mess.
Well, that's why they bring in Warren, because Warren is like, all right, you run this for us.
They've trusted the wrong people, but I'm gonna make another complaint about them. Warren is good on the business side. Warren is good on the whole stadium side and making the team money and revenue. He's not good on he has never had football experience. He was
with the Vikings for 10 years. He was with the Rams earlier. But my point is, you can't put this all on Warren. Warren just got there. Warren just got there.
Fair enough.
So this is not just like you implanted a cancer into the Bears.
Let me say this. He signed, both of him and Poles signed off on Eberflus coming back.
That was Poles' guy, but I understand.
But both of them, the report was both of them signed off on Eberflus coming back because he, quote unquote, had the locker room. You had DJ Moore
that blames on Poles.
Okay.
Put that on Poles.
And lastly, they had DJ Moore on radio shows complaining about the team. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Poles went to go get Waldron.
Oh, God.
So
that's another thing.
The fact that Poles should not be getting any sort of leash here. This is a two-sided problem. This is a two-pronged sword.
I'm going to add more to Poles. The offensive line was a mess. I feel bad because the line played good, honest to God, last year in the NFL season. He nonetheless brought back the same guys, and it blew up in his face. So
the idea that Kevin Warren is just the solo cancer. No, Kevin Warren walked into a burning building with a canister of gasoline. So there is not just a Kevin Warren problem, but this power dynamic struggle with the Bears is glaring. It's going to hurt them in the long run. It's going to hurt them in this head coaching search when they know they have a desirable job. It's a desirable job. It's a good roster. It's a historic franchise, a good city. And the only thing that could deter a coach, is organizational dysfunction. Mm-hmm. That is the ultimate atomic bomb to NFL franchises. That is where the Bears are, and that is where the Bears can't get out from under. We continue the conversation, do a little 5 at 5 coming up next. It's Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today. Don't miss out on this incredible course. And please, putt responsibly.
I'm Darnella Felix, and when I crave buds, I crave the chicken finger dinner, and I love the mac and cheese.
When that craving hits, it's time to come into Bud's to try our classic hand-breaded chicken, made fresh to order.
Take one,
Come on down to Bud's Chicken and Seafood for a Binger Ficky.
You said Binger Ficky.
Why would I say Binger Ficky?
I don't know, because it's Bud's Finger Quickie served with fries.
Sounds good.
Taste buds. Taste the difference.
Bet live with Hard Rock Bet. Real-time wagering till the very last play. Missing the kickoff doesn't mean all bets are off.
Delay a game on the guy who hasn't bet yet.
Sometimes you just know your team is going to come back. The sportsbook for every kind of player.
Hard Rock Bet. Roll with us.
Get up to $100 back if your first bet doesn't win. Payable and bonus bet up to $100, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
F45 Training West Palm Beach offers functional group fitness classes reimagined. Sign up for F45 today and visit their West Palm Beach location. Featuring high-intensity group workouts that are fast, fun, and results-driven, F45 always has the right workout for you. Not to mention, it takes just 45 minutes. Visit F45training.com today to find a studio near you and officially join the F45 Training family. F45, team training, life-changing.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at PNC.com.
Hear that? The sound of water being poured on 800-degree rocks. If you were here in this sauna, you'd be so hot you wouldn't have the energy to move. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. Besides, after a long ride, a helmet sweat is way more satisfying. So if you ride, switch to Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer, without even breaking a sweat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you're in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. Anna Jar and Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anna Jar and Levine, my accident attorneys. Anna Jar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Hi, Kevin Dalton here from the Unlimited Auto Wash. Rainy season is upon us. What a great time to join our $44.95 Unlimited Inside and Out Club and use any of our 6 locations. Find a location near you at unlimitedautoWashClub.com or call 561-WASH-ME-TOO.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slpt.com. That's slpt.com.
Finished with holiday decorations and need affordable gifts for everyone? Advanced Discount South Florida Fair tickets are filled with fun and make great gifts.
South Florida Fair discount tickets are on sale now at Publix and online at southfloridafair.com. Fair opens January 17th in West Palm Beach.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game. Rizzo.
Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, a Tuesday edition, the 10th of December. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat behind the glass. As always, the highlights of today, of course, Bill Belichick and UNC furthering their talk. Some say, some reporting at least, that is closer to being done than people want to give it credit for. Of course, the Chicago Bears struggling with a bit of a power dynamic, according to Waddle and Sylvia of ESPN 1000 over in Chicago, based on Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren. But we got a packed program for you today. Christian Cat, our producer of this very program, behind the glass. How you doing today, Christian? Is everything okay?
Doing absolutely spectacular.
You're on a diet.
I am on a diet, and I'm doing good. It feels good. I'm not eating any garbage anymore. So,
what day is this?
Day 2.
Okay. And the diet is consistently snacking?
No, well, like, there's no big meal for the first week. It's like these protein shakes.
Snacks.
And then in between the protein shakes are these delicious bars. Like, again, this cookies and cream bar. You think of a Hershey's cookies and cream. Just have that, but it actually is extremely healthy, so I appreciate it.
So you have the protein bars and protein shakes. Do you have like a dinner tonight planned, or is it a bar?
It starts next week. The dinner.
So
portion
it's
of
just
it.
so this is like a shock system week. Huh?
Yeah. This is a boot. This is weeds out the week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then next week, actual like meals start.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm seeing the menu, what I can get at Metrum MD. And I've got some stuff on my mind. Some soups that look delicious.
Wow. Okay, so you get a menu here. You get to choose.
Oh, it's optionality, baby. You can customize this diet to your liking.
So is it all soup, C-Cat? It's not...
No, there's meals.
Okay, yeah.
Some chicken, some salmon. Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, I assumed that you would get food back into the repertoire soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm probably... I go back to Metrum MD, see Dr. Mark Amorosino, checks me out. You hook me up to all the high-tech machines that can tell every little thing about your body. I see him tomorrow morning. We'll talk about progress. We'll talk about the plan. I'm excited for it.
Like, I'm interested. Did they talk about the metabolic rate and stuff like that?
Probably didn't. It went over my head.
Okay,
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm fascinated by that because this boot camp you're going to feel it. Saturday and Sunday, when there's football on and there's good sports to watch and you're hanging out, you're not going to want to sit around and have a little protein shake. You're going to want to order a pizza.
Here's the thing. And
it's going to be a fascinating little breakthrough individuality that you're going to have there.
C-Cat, I told you, once you get through the first 3, 4, 5 days, I think you'll be all right. But this weekend will be a big test because it's still part of that,
it's Army Navy
realm.
I'm going to golf on Saturday morning.
And hang on. Colin over here lost weight recently. I'm currently down almost 10 pounds now. Once you get through that, and by the way, lost 100 in years past for the record. Once you get past that first threshold, that first weekend of, all right, no cheat meal, you're fine. You just got to get through it.
It's crazy because I had the most valid excuse to cheat last night.
Yeah, you did it. I saw you.
It lasted 3.5 hours, and I was missing my time.
It was more like That was more like 4.5 hours last night, but
and I did. I said,
had a great time.
If it was not day one, I honestly would have considered cheating. But you can't cheat on day one because you might as well have never started. So I just sat with that chicken and mashed potatoes in front of me for 4 hours.
And none of us took it.
I meal too. It's like
hang on though. I felt so bad. We're just like, get it because one of us will eat it. None of us decided to eat it, and he was just looking at you.
It might be still
the
be
entire
there.
time. Yeah, it might still be there. Now, Colin brought up a good point. I think our general manager, Stephanie Prince, brought this up too. You're going to State College for the Penn State game.
Yep.
And where does drinking fall under the umbrella for the diet?
Yeah, it's not under the umbrella. I'll be DDing in State College.
I would talk to Doc about this and have Doc award you a little weekend where you could go enjoy a college football playoff game at your alma mater.
Hang on. As someone that has been sober for 3 years, you might not drink again after this, honest to God.
Really?
Yes.
See, as someone who's just getting into the drinking game, so like I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum, you're just getting out of it?
Yeah. I didn't know you didn't drink in college?
Not too much.
Okay, fair play to you.
You know, it's tough because I just don't find things that I like, the taste-wise.
Okay.
So I just found, now I'm quitting it for the diet until I get to where I want to be.
Nice.
But now that I like hard cider, now I can drink healthily.
Well, it sounds like
Hard cider.
You have it under control.
You can't. You don't like beer?
I hate beer.
Yeah, beer
like
is.
seltzers?
Listen, Colin,
no.
Colin, I got to say, I was before seltzers as well. I like I said, I missed the whole seltzer era. I was never a beer guy. It was always my Tito water with lemon, vodka water lemon.
You don't like any mixies, cocktails, nothing.
I like some, but it was just out of like necessity. Like to have something at a party, I would have a rum and Coke, but I wouldn't love it. It wouldn't be a delicious rum and Coke, But I love hard cider now.
You're at a bar. You're getting a burger. Watching a game. What are you having with it?
Please an Angry Orchard. Thank you.
Angry Orchard.
They don't have an Angry Orchard. Then what?
Probably if you have any hard cider. No hard cider. All right. Let me look at the drink menu. Looks a little pricey. All right, then I will go with a rum and Coke.
Okay.
Or go water.
So rum and Coke is that old reliable fallback?
I can't do water with lemon because the alcohol drink was vodka water lemon. And it's like it just takes me back to those days. You know how like music, food takes you like it's just, we don't need that. We don't need that.
It's time for us to do a little 5 at 5 on Russo and Rizzo.
Number 1.
Well, the Bengals beat the Cowboys last night on Monday Night Football. Jamar Chase, 177 receiving yards. He tied the record for catches on a Monday Night Football game. The Bengals sit at 5-8 this season. What should be their number 1 offseason priority?
Well, I mean, you could bring up Jamar Chase. You could bring up the head coach. You could bring up management. Where do the Bengals really go from here? It's got to be find somebody to address that defense. If that is current management, great. If it's not, find somebody who can. Jamar Chase is a spectacular talent, but that defense has so many holes. You need to address that defense, and whether you want to sign Jamar Chase to $900 million over 6 years and just let that eat your cap away, maybe you got to do it. He's probably giving you no reason to walk away from him because of how good he has been. But their problems are bigger than what Jamar Chase is at receiver.
You guys are going to be surprised with this answer. I don't envy the Bengals. On one end, Colin, if you re-sign Jamar Chase, you're not going to have any money to do anything to fix the defense. The other side of the coin, you don't re-sign Jamar Chase, you're going to lose a lot of the fan base, and it's going to be a bad look all around. A guy you drafted, a homegrown guy that you're not going to sign and reward for being a top 2, arguably the best wide receiver in football this year. I don't envy them. I don't envy them.
It's going to be a tricky spot in how they handle this. They probably have to pay Chase. There's
Agreed.
probably no discussion.
They're gonna
and then you got to figure out from there.
I think is strong-armed a good word? Now, I say strong-armed.
He's giving them no choice. It's not a strong arm, but he's giving them no choice.
Guy had 14 receptions for 2 touchdowns and $177. Squeeze my arm. I want that guy on my team, but you're not going to have money. You already couldn't re-sign Jesse Bates.
Counterpoint.
Yeah, let's hear it.
If they don't re-sign T. Higgins as well, do we see these video game numbers from Jamar Chase? Goodbye.
You don't need T. Higgins. I think you see the video game numbers no matter what, because I personally think Joe Burrow is a top 3, top 4 quarterback in the NFL. I know Theo talked a lot about this earlier. You could listen to our guy, Theo Dorsey, at 2 to 4 weekdays here, ESPN 106.3. But they're in a tough spot. And that the best way I can put it is I'm happy my team's not the Bengals, because on one end, if you don't get Chase, it's a nightmare. And on the other end, if you do re-sign Chase, you don't have any money to fix the most important thing, which is probably the defense.
Now, Yoshi Voss is not a bad player. They had Jermaine Burton that we're kind of the jury's out on. I think a second-round receiver they got there. T. Higgins is relatively replaceable in my book. I probably maybe chips off Jamar Chase's production a little bit due to the attention that he warrants. But the idea that you need both and one does not succeed without the other, I think is a little, what I guess argument would warrant that.
So two things are very interesting. Jamar Chase obviously wanted a record contract going into this regular season. And last night, the audio is not very good, so I'll quote him on it. What Jamar Chase was talking post-game. He said, quote, "I wish I could sign T myself and have them with me for eternity. It's 100% possible. It's just playing chess at this point.
I quickly, Colin, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think it's more or less just those two wanting contracts and looking out for each other. I don't see a difference. I think a second-round draft pick, a second-round wide receiver who is highly touted can go in and have the same numbers playing alongside Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow.
T is also never available. T is also
I really do.
T is rarely available.
Hang on, Cat. How many times have we seen second-round picks from the wide receiver position and even first-round picks have immediate success in the league?
How many have we seen that
Joe
have also
Burrow.
crashed and
disappeared?
This is Joe. This is Joe Burrow, though. Like. This is, I think no matter who you put, I think it's the Josh Allen effect.
But also, you don't want to...
Josh Allen, remember when they said, they're going to rue the day they don't have Stephon Diggs? What do they have, 11 wins this year?
So of course, he's a floor raiser, but it's not like they have an all-pro receiver there that Josh Allen has morphed into one because of being a second-round pick.
So you guys think if Chase and T. Higgins leave, Burrow's not going to be the same quarterback he's been? You think that he's not going to put up numbers like he has been?
Not similarly, no.
Okay,
but I think he'd take a step
I
back. He'd still be
still
great. But
I still think Burrow would be unreal and be...
You can't compare it to Josh Allen. That's a perfectly constructed offense. They have a good offensive line. They have a good running game. They have a good coach. They have a good offensive coordinator.
But this is a good... and I know it's a lot because of Chase and Higgins, but I still think if you go the discount route at the wide receiver position, Joe Burrow is still a really good top 4 quarterback.
I tend to agree with that. I'm not going to say it's an expendable position, but Jamar Chase is probably a one-of-one difference. T. Higgins, on the other hand, I don't think you need a T. Higgins to make sure that Jamar Chase is happy, healthy, focused, and playing well, because T. Higgins has had injury issues, number one, and number two, you can't just pay those two guys premier money and then with glaring holes in the other end of the field.
Bengals, I want to remind you guys, too, the Bengals find offensive weapons. They find offensive guys. Look at Chase Brown this year. Chase Brown's been one of the best running backs in the NFL over the last 3 weeks. He was a 6th-round pick out of the Fighting Illini. So,
do you think Jamar Chase will take less in order to also keep T. Higgins?
No. I mean, we saw that this offseason.
No.
We saw that this offseason.
He didn't take less. He just didn't get a contract.
I don't necessarily.
How many
buy
receivers
that.
take pay cuts? And not only are you going against the Players Association and the Players Union by going under market and not raising it, because the salary cap's going up. So if the salary cap goes up and all of a sudden he goes $10 million less than what is expected of him, the other players are upset at him because then they can't leverage that in their contracts with their teams, and all of a sudden he's the bad guy, not to the Bengals, but to everybody else.
And another thing off of that, him and Justin Jefferson are close friends. They have a rivalry, played with each other at LSU.
That's important to him. Yeah, it is.
He wants to make more money than JJ. He wants to be the top paid wide receiver in the NFL. I personally, and listen, I'm not a multi-million-dollar athlete and the best at what I do in the NFL. I mean, what's the difference between... I don't know exactly the numbers off the top of my head. It's been a little bit since
35-30.
What's the difference between $5 million? It's not a lot to me. It's a lot to these guys.
The way I look at it, too, is, Jamar Chase, because he sat out his last year, COVID year in LSU. You're telling me he's now all of a sudden a team guy, player?
He wants
He sat out to go to the draft.
Not as a team thing. It's a sound investment. If he signs a record 5-year deal.
And he wants that.
Keeps T. Higgins with him.
So your argument
his
is
numbers will be better and he will get that next contract.
All right, I think he's looking too far ahead. I understand the point. I do. So you're saying that you think Jamar Chase is what might be more inclined to take some sort of pay cut, a family-friendly discount to a lot for a T. Higgins contract, because T. Higgins and him on the field together helps Jamar Chase's overall production.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes. His production for the team in terms of win-losses and taking care of himself in that now Jamar Chase is another coveted free agent.
I don't know.
Then why couldn't something be figured out? And listen, I hear your point of you had a full year to play and the 5th-year option. Trust me, I think it's ridiculous. These guys are looking for contracts and the contract's not even up yet. Point taken. But at the same time, if that was the case, something would have already been figured out. These two would have came together this past offseason and said, listen, let's create something special here. We're still going to be making crazy money. I think it would have already happened by now. It's clear to me that Jamar Chase is looking to be the most lucrative wide receiver, if not player, in the NFL, or else he already would have signed. He already would have taken the slap in the face, I think he called it, Bengal discount.
And on top of that, the Bengals are poor this year. They're bad. So this is not like you're running it back with a Super Bowl roster. You're trying to create a Super Bowl roster. T. Higgins is going, and I don't even think this is a Jamar thing. I think this is going to be a T. Higgins thing. Somebody else is going to offer T. Higgins more money than the Bengals will, and it's going to be hard to walk away from the extra $4 or $5 million average to go back to the 5-win Bengals. That's my take there. Number 2.
Number 2.
Well, it's been reported UNC and Bill Belichick are nearing final talks for their head coaching vacancy with multiple stipulations, including, well, Bill's son, Steve Belichick, as the coach in waiting. Head coach in waiting, and additional college recruitment staff. It's also been reported that UNC is considering these demands currently. Is this the right move for North Carolina to invest this much in 72-year-old Bill Belichick?
I think for the intrigue, do it. From a college football perspective, do it. At the worst, you're not winning a lot of games. You're going to be in the middle of the pack range because he's not going to be a 0-win coach. You're going to be middle of the pack range, and there's going to be a whole lot of intrigue. There's going to be a whole lot of money coming into that program because people want to see Belichick. They want to go to the games. They want to support the program. He's going to have people coming in. He's going to have players at the offseason stuff. There's going to be a lot of buzz about UNC football all of a sudden. Intrigue attracts players. It attracts money. It attracts television. That's going to be a beneficial deal short-term, maybe long-term for UNC.
Agreed with Colin, and it'll be a long-term investment if the son is a good coach. Would you guys agree?
Well, he's a good defensive coordinator. We don't know if he's a good head coach.
If it's plug and play from dad, then yes, it is a long-term solution. But it's a short-term solution if we're only talking about Bill. We talked a lot about this early on in the show. The two things I'm worried about. Is the college kid going to listen to a 72-year-old Bill Belichick? Is he going to be able to get through to the kids? And number 2, is he going to be able to recruit? I think those are very important attributes you have to be a college CEO kind of coach to build a brand and to build a program. Coach Day, Ryan Day, can't coach worth of a lick in an actual game, but he can get the recruit there, and the recruit is going to listen to him. Hence why the Buckeyes have, years of people going in the first round. And then you flip it on over to the GOAT, Nick Saban, who is good at every facet. In-game, timeouts, recruiting, progression. Progression's the wrong word. Oy vey.
Nope. Not helping.
I'm not helping you guys.
It's
progression. When someone's at the program and they get better.
Improvement.
Developing. Thank you. God, for the life of me. I don't know if Belichick has all that under his umbrella, and I don't know how serious he's actually taking this. I tend to lean more he's trying to set his son up for the future. Yeah. That's just my personal opinion.
I think this is not a career move. This is a life move for Bill Belichick. I think it is taking a year off of football, seeing what's important to him right now. It's his family. And if he can both coach football and set up his family for success when he's done with football.
His son's the defensive coordinator at Washington. He's not a mile and a half away from a head coaching gig in college football.
But he's maybe 47 miles away from being the greatest coach of all time, which is Bill Belichick. So if that's the standards of success in that family, wouldn't you want your son to be even better than you were?
Totally. But from me, if you guys are under the impression that Belichick is going to take this hiccup in his career at 72 years of age just for the sole purpose of helping his son, it sounds like it has a lot to do with it. That is true. But the idea that is the sole purpose of why he is doing it at 72 years of age when he is 15 wins away from the all-time record in wins as a head coach, and he's just doing it to help his already established, already accepted, and already celebrated defensive coordinator son in a Power 4 school, I don't know if I'd buy that.
Well, I don't, but to play devil's advocate off of that, we mentioned he's 72. You're running out of years to win 15 games, being honest. Belichick isn't going to win 15 games in 1 year. We all agree on that. Unless he goes, and I'll eat the biggest crow.
He's not going to die in 2 years, but I understand the point.
That's why I don't take this, Colin, but that's why I don't take it seriously.
But you're not buying Belichick's ability to resonate with players.
Correct, at the college level.
There's 3 things that go into recruiting. There's 3 things that go into developing and getting guys to come play for you. It's brand, it's money, opportunity. UNC has a brand.
Do you think relatability is overrated then?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
And nowadays,
hey, brother,
yes.
You might be onto something. Fair enough.
Why is it that 40% of college football enter because they're related to the coach?
I just the whole no nonsense drill sergeant thing. I don't know if it. And you said I don't give the college kid enough credit and fair play. I don't know how the drill sergeant thing is going to work on especially a college player who's making millions of dollars. I don't know if they're going to like the drill sergeant.
All right, then the one guy will not leave, and that one guy will leave, and they'll get in somebody who can.
Okay.
There's 40% of college football, the relatability aspect to the coach and them being buddy-buddy is a little overrated. Brand money opportunity.
So let's peel back about 2 weeks. Mac Brown comes out one day and says, I intend to return to UNC. The following day, UNC says, yeah, we don't intend you to return to UNC.
Yeah.
Do you think they had Belichick not only in mind, but in contact at that moment?
Probably.
What a good secret to be kept.
Yeah, indeed. And all it takes a couple phone calls that, if they're moving on from Brown and he knows that he's old and the whole thing, they know. There's always these little whispers within the deal on what coaching available.
Why did and I don't think Mac Brown failed at Carolina. He made him relevant for the record. But why is Belichick going to have more success in a coach like Mac Brown?
Because he's a better coach than Mac Brown.
But Mac Brown is a legend in college and coached one of the best.
Belichick offers more in terms of brand opportunity, money, NIL, and he is also coming in with a set plan comparatively to Brand.
Okay.
That's why.
Fair enough.
Because Belichick's going to bring more money. He's going to bring more NFL guys. He has a more established pedigree comparatively to Mac Brown. Yeah, and we know Mac Brown's a great coach.
But Mac Brown, unreal college coach, and he struggled there. But I get it. Maybe the top athletes would want to come play for Belichick more than Mac Brown.
Sells himself.
I get it.
People want to go play for Deion because Deion was a good player. How about going to play for Belichick because you know he's a great coach?
But
Saban
Deion,
sells himself.
Would you agree with me? My relatability context that plays with Deion.
Well, one thing about Deion too. Deion walked into that Colorado locker room and he told 70% of the kids to walk out and don't come back. So how relatable is that? And he came in and he immediately did that drill sergeant routine.
Relatable to the guys that he recruited, that he brought in.
Sure.
And honest to God, as bad as it was, Colin, it was the right move. I mean, those kids probably couldn't play on the Colorado team that won 9 games this year. Would you agree?
And he did that. Hold on. And he did that drill sergeant routine. He walked in. Everybody saw it because it was all filmed.
But it was guys he didn't recruit.
Fine. Bill Belichick's going to bring in guys he does recruit. It's the same concept. He's going to do the exact same thing.
Like, obviously, you're going to get rid of the guys you don't want. You're a new coach, right? Am I missing something?
Yeah. Yes. What are you confused about? Yes. I'm saying
I don't think Deion, but Deion is not a drill sergeant.
But he came in and he said, don't come in if you don't want to do what we do. And I understand he lets them have their bling and the rah-rah, but Deion is more hard-nosed than people give him credit for.
Maybe.
This drill sergeant routine, what was Saban? A drill sergeant. But nobody wants to play for their best buddy. That's not why players stay.
And then listen,
brand and opportunity.
And I understand Saban coached with Belichick, and not in Cleveland. Saban was the defensive coordinator, and Belichick was the coach. I understand it. I just think it's a little late for Bill to be doing the whole college routine. I
don't disagree there. But the idea that a player is not going to like Belichick says who? It's Bill Belichick. Some things speak for themselves. His pedigree does.
19-year-olds who have been told how great they are their entire lives, who have
you could say that about any coach.
50 other college coaches.
Why does Dan Hurley work? Give me an example. I'll give you an example. You want to talk about catered to? Talk about basketball players. More so than football
you're right.
Players.
There's no disagreement there. Hurley works because I think, Colin, he has his own way of doing things. Does Belichick's way of doing things work? Hurley, that's why I said earlier in the show, this isn't the Bill Belichick that's won 5 Super Bowls in 8 years. This is the Belichick that got ran out of town and couldn't draft life of him in the NFL.
It's the same Belichick. It's the same Belichick.
How
Yes.
How do you say
Hurley has done what he did?
Do the Patriots think he's lost a step?
How is this different? You bring up the drill sergeant thing. How is that different from Hurley? Hurley is a psychopath.
Because it's working.
Because it's working, fine.
But
it didn't
Belichick
work before.
worked. But
it didn't work. UConn was a nightmare before Hurley got there.
They won a national championship with Ollie.
And then it got vacated. Ollie got vacated, and then they were a disaster for 3 years.
The vacated thing, I understand, but they won.
There's no argument here. There's no argument here because
with what? With
they
Belichick?
missed 2 tournaments. How about that?
Okay, all right. I'm not going to get into UConn hoops.
I'm not. Mike,
I'm not arguing. I am not arguing UConn hoops with you.
They missed 2
I
tournaments.
agree.
Fine. But he came in. He's a psychopath. He's way worse than anything Belichick does. Belichick is all the players love him. All the players who are Belichick guys love Belichick. They don't love Belichick, the GM. But the idea that every single player in college football is not going, a lot of players in college football are not going to go to the 100 other programs. But you don't think that Belichick is going to find his NFL aspiring players that are going to be willing to deal with the Belichick style things. You're not going into boot camp. It's not Army and Navy. Yeah, you're playing a little bit tougher. It's a little bit of a style thing, and you're playing in a scheme that favors the NFL side of things. But you're not walking in, and you're not, no beards, and it's the same thing. It's no beards and uniforms. It's not like that. This is Bill Belichick, who every player wanted to play for the better part of 20 years. There's to me, I don't understand the point. I understand why it would work because Belichick, it just doesn't click on the college side
You can't
of things.
understand that. I'm saying,
but you're saying he's not going to get the players.
He's not going to get the players, and he's not going to be able to get through to this kind of college athlete. I think his coaching is ancient, Colin, and I think there's a reason.
Go through Ryan Day's recruiting class of any year, and how many of them from this past year? Alabama too. They had 100 5-stars. I would say maybe half of them were already in the portal. So what does that say about getting these big-time players to come to your school in this age of college football?
I more or less, Colin, question it because of how his development ended in New England. That team was a nightmare. Would you agree?
Yes.
And he couldn't draft anymore. So we're going to trust him to start a college program and be able to...
As opposed to who?
Listen, it would bring, Colin, it would bring the whole prime effect that we talked about.
Every other coach who was fired ends on bad terms. So all of a sudden, when a coach that ends on bad terms gets rehired elsewhere, you're doing the exact same thing you're bringing up, but you don't have the pedigree of Belichick. So somebody who was fired here, didn't work out here. Saban, fired with the Miami Dolphins. That didn't work out. What does Alabama do? What does LSU do? They bring him in. So same concept, doesn't work everywhere. But the pedigree allows you to retry.
You see why I'm questioning if this thing's going to work,
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I don't understand the argument that players are not going to resonate, number one, and why would you even do this with Belichick? The answer is, it's easy. He sells himself because people want to go to the NFL, more so than they want to deal with the drill sergeant, and college players resonate with structure and intensity more so than you give them credit for.
But hear me out on this. I'm already making millions of dollars. I could go make millions of dollars elsewhere. I'm grandfathered in to go to the NFL. Why the hell do I need to go there and go through all that?
Listen, I'm not trying to flaunt this, but as somebody who knows people, and my brother is in college athletics, they adore structure, intensity, and that drill sergeant mentality more so than people give them credit for.
Fair enough.
They need, the parents, especially selling parents, need the structure of the intensity of a college in-tune environment. It is very important comparatively to La La Land, doing whatever you want and just collecting your check. You're never going to do anything.
Fair enough, partner. Great points. I question the whole if Belichick can still coach, number one, and number two, at a level where he's never done it before and to relate to 18 and 19-year-olds.
That's the argument. Okay. That is the argument.
Okay.
Not the other stuff. That is the argument on whether he could still do it.
Number 3.
Talked about in the first hour, the Bears are once again in turmoil as a franchise. Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren are button heads. Where do the Bears go from here?
Where do the Bears go? You're going to have to... I think this is coming to a point, you're not going to reconcile this from outside looking in. There's one way, in my opinion, that you could fast-track your way to some sort of success, and it's got to pick a side. The McCaskies are going to have to pick a side, whether you want to put your chips with Ryan Poles or put your chips with Kevin Warren. Poles is never going to change his perspective all throughout and just buy in because it's the Bears. They don't have the pedigree. This is not a suck it up because the Bears are the Bears and they're great. They're not. He thinks he can fix the Bears, and he thinks somebody's getting in the way of that. Pick a side. That is the only way this is going to work out.
Structurally a nightmare. I've dealt with this team for a long time working in Peoria. I blame the McCaskies, sadly. They put their eggs in the wrong basket countless times. And I know they're trying to do the right thing here, but given Kevin Warren football powers, I don't think is a recipe for success. He is not a football guy. He is there to build the stadium and make the team money. You hired Ryan Poles to handle the football operation. If you don't think that's the move, fine. Get rid of him, but make sure you have football people making decisions. I know we're up against it, guys. I do want to tell a story. Their last time when they went to hire a head coach and a GM, the last time. Who is, Colin, help me out. Name slipping me. Former GM that drafted Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. Polian? They brought in Polian to help the McCaskies with the search. they narrowed the head coaching search down to like 3 guys, and then they hired Ryan Poles, and Polian didn't get to hire his head coach. Poles hired Eberflus. That's the next level McCaskey stuff I'm talking about. They're a great family. They're great people. I hope they get it right one day, but this screams like they're going down the wrong lane again with a non-football guy making decisions.
So you want them to stick with Poles?
They need to just
wipe it clean?
Yes. Wipe it clean.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Wipe it clean, and this time, the football people you hire, let them hire your people.
Start at the top and hire somebody that can trickle-down effect his way. That's the only way to do this. We'll continue the conversation. AJ Dybantsa, the number 1 player in the 2025 college recruiting on basketball side of things, committed to BYU today on First Take. All right. A little much there.
Yeah!
But apparently, NIL compensation in the realm of $5, $6, $7 million. Unethical. We'll get into that next. It's Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595. 800-600-9595.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group. If you are buying a new home in Palm Beach County, whether it's your first time or you're upgrading or downsizing, the clerk's office has the services you need to help protect your investment. Sign up for our Property Fraud Alert program, offering free monitoring of Palm Beach County's official records. You will get an alert if a document, such as a deed or mortgage, is recorded using your name or address. For more information, head to our website at mypalmbeachclerk.com/homeowners. Congratulations on your new home. We are always here to help.
PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. To do this, they're implementing their Community Benefits Plan that focuses on affordable home lending, small business loans, and employee volunteerism, and creating other opportunities to give back on a local level. They're proud to be a part of the South Florida community. See how PNC Bank can make a difference for you at pnc.com/our commitments. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
This is the Delray Beach Open. Don't miss today's top professional tennis stars and legends in downtown Delray Beach. February 7th through 16th. It's 10 days of tennis on the Ave. 140 miles per hour races, parties, music, art, and all the good vibes. Come for the nonstop action on and off the court. Snap pics and post memories at the DBO. Join us for a jam-packed week of ATP tennis matches. More fun, more food, more drink, more parties, more of everything. DelrayBeachOpen.com for info.
Holiday season at Duffy's Sports Grill means holiday features galore. Savor Duffy's limited time holiday menu with new crab stuffed mushrooms, seafood pasta, salmon Oscar, and mahi Oscar. Plus, famous holiday drinks like Jack Apple New Fashioned and a peppermint martini. Now, through New Year's Eve, score a $20 MVP bonus for every $100 in Duffy's gift cards you purchase. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Hi, this is Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. We are a Florida civil trial law firm that specializes in the areas of personal injury and wrongful death. Our offices are located in Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie. Our lawyers have litigated thousands of matters at the Palm Beach, Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River County courthouses. Our lawyers, paralegals, and other numerous members of our legal team live in Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast cities and towns such as West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, Lake Worth, Palm Beach Gardens, Palm City, Jupiter, and others just like you and your families. We are a statewide recognized law firm, but it is your community and your families that we live and associate with on a daily basis. Our most satisfying achievement is when we know that our legal power has helped a fellow member of our Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast community secure a fair and just huge result. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at kaisergolfcenter.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Closing out the program here on a Tuesday edition of Russo and Rizzo. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cap behind the glass on ESPN 106.3, live from the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach. How about this? AJ Dibansa, the number 1 player in the 2025 high school basketball class, committed to BYU, and there are reports I knew would be high. You wonder why BYU instead of Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, who are all in the finalists. Some people are speculating, reporting even, that it was in this $5 to $6 to $7 million range in NIL compensation that this player is receiving, likely for a 1-year rental. Talk about, to me, a complete waste of money. That is ridiculous. When is the last time Anthony Davis, that a true freshman, came in there, kind of starstruck the entire program and led them to the promised land in the national championship? They had Zion, RJ Barrett, and Cam Reddish as 3 top 5 prospects for Duke, and they couldn't even get it done. That is a ridiculous amount of money.
Sounds like a booster over there at BYU just wanted to make his presence known.
It's called the Jazz owner. That's what that's what people
Fair
are
enough.
speculating. You have money like that.
Let me ask you this, Colin. I like to think you know a lot more hoops and on the college side than I do, partner. Can this guy even be an Anthony Davis type?
I have no idea.
I mean, this is a lot of money. Dare I say that this young man's stat line can look along the lines of 11 points, 2 assists, and a rebound a game, honest to God, and making $6 million.
Even if he's great, if the team is not good, then what?
Like, Colin, if
he's leaving regardless.
Hear me out on this. If he goes there and is the next big star and he's averaging 20 and the whole stat line per game, fine. Money well spent. If they win a couple of games in the tournament, money well spent. You're going to give a young freshman $5 to $6 to $7 million, and you don't even know if he's going to be good in college.
You don't even know if he fits in the system.
Colin, I've never heard it. You want to know why I have this take? I've never even heard of this kid. I knew who Zion Williamson was. I knew who Anthony Davis was. I knew the big-time process. I knew who Victor Wembanyama was. I know he played overseas, but I knew these guys. Yeah, I don't know who the hell this is.
I've heard of this kid.
Have you? I've
yes.
never heard of this guy.
This kid's a big prospect. He's a good player. But the idea that $7 million, even in the realm of that, I even think anything past the $1 million mark for a 1-year rental is crazy for a college basketball player, because nowadays it's all about the team. Kansas, the team that won the title, was a team. UConn's were just a team. Baylor was about the team. Multiple players, older and younger, coming together in that sense. It's not necessarily the one and done era anymore.
I call it the revenge of experience now.
It is.
It used to be you got to get all the...
The one and done is not working.
No,
Look at Cal. Look at Cal.
Why do you think Coach K left? Why do you think... Actually, Roy Williams is bad, Colin. Carolina was one of the few teams that actually developed their players. But you get what I'm saying. The one and doners are not having success. I love Calipari. My favorite basketball coach of all time, all right? But the last 3 years at Kentucky were a nightmare. 2 out of the 4 years you lost to 15 seeds or higher. What? What? Or excuse me, 14 seeds or higher. What?
There is a slim margin of where this money would even be remotely worth it in my eyes.
And the reason Cal lost those games was because of experience. And I know he tried in the portal with Antonio Reeves and some of these other guys, but the strength of the team came from the young players, and it just doesn't work anymore.
There is just not a college player in my eyes for 1 year to make that type of NIL money because it's comparatively to what other good players are making. Other good players, yeah, they're making in the six figures, and that's deserving. They generate that type of revenue. That is, I guess, adjacent to the type of money that they put together for the school. Is he really bringing in $7 million worth of basketball over a 1 year period? Absolutely ludicrous amount of money for one player for a school like BYU too. They're not a surefire top 5 team. This might propel them into that, but unbelievable the amount of money.
In my opinion, the standard right now in college basketball are your Huskies, Colin. Back-to-back championships. They did it with young players. Correct me if I'm wrong. What was Castle?
He was a freshman. He was a freshman.
Okay.
It's a mixture of both.
Exactly. Mixture of both. And guess what? The best coach in college basketball helps as well. I want to rewind to that Kansas team you mentioned, that one. Remember McCormick? They won that game because of McCormick.
Yeah.
His presence down low, his offensive rebounding, the put-ins, the slam dunks down low.
Azubuike, yeah. Dude, yeah.
They were veteran players who have been in big moments before. And I'm sorry, a kid from, with all due respect, from Utah Prep who's going to be there for 6 months making $6 million is asinine. It's changed. This isn't what college basketball is anymore.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. That's pay to play, pay to come to school here. Whatever happens. We'll figure it out. It sounds like BYU just got the blank check on the NIL side of things. So we'll see if they can maybe string together a couple good seasons. But you're, like you said, 6 months out of this guy, and he is gone. Goodbye.
CCAT, $1 million per month.
Yeah,
being in college. Do
you
use $6 million, Christian?
No, I would use about maybe $60,000 of it, put it away. S&P 500, pay dividends. That's what I would do with $6 million.
Wait.
There's your financial advice.
Did you just plug some no names, please stock?
No.
The S&P 500?
The S&P 500,
I have no idea
folks,
what that is.
In case you haven't.
No idea what that is. I deal in cryptocurrency.
That'll be an inside joke for me, Colin, and the audience against you. How about that?
Perfect. If you're smart, you put it in XRP. But
if you're not smart, don't put it in the S&P 500.
Okay. Perfect.
We'll have to do a little financial planning for Mike Rizzo here a little later. But in the meantime, it's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Here's an interesting thing too. Mark Asino. When's the last time you heard that name? Because the star-famed Jets all-time leader in sacks. Of course, the New York Sack Exchange is a 30 for 30 coming out, I believe, this weekend on ESPN about that great Jet defense with all the sacks. I believe they had 60-something sacks back in the early 80s, 81, 82, 83 maybe. But the man who was the sack leader all-time in a season was Mark Asino before Michael Strahan. And Michael Strahan, I believe he was at 22, 21 and a half. Strahan got it, of course. I believe Strahan had 22 and a half, if my numbers serve correct.
Yes.
So Gastineau met with Favre. And here is a little bit of an audio. Just to look, they did this to plug the actual program, which is the best way possible because this is everywhere right now. Gastineau lost it because Strahan sacked Favre. That was the 22nd and a half sack.
When you say met with Favre, he confronted Favre.
He confronted Favre is the right word. They're like signing helmets. They're like in a warehouse signing helmets. Take a listen to the interaction between Brett Favre and New York Jet legend Mark Gastineau.
I thought we met a long time ago. At least I saw you.
Right.
How you doing?
When you fell down for him. I'm going to get my sack back. I'm going to get my sack back, dude.
You probably would hurt me.
Well, I don't care. You hurt me. You hurt me. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You really hurt me. You hurt me, Brett.
We got to get back to this, Brett. I'm sorry.
That happened in 2001. Michael Strahan beat that record. It's 2024. What was that?
Colin, you're going to have to explain that all over again because I am beyond confused. Number one.
All right.
And listen, hang on. I have no problem with admitting this. I don't even know who the hell that guy is. All right, I've watched more football than anybody I know, maybe outside a couple people. I don't even know who the hell that guy was.
He's a Jets all-time leader in sacks.
No idea. I had no idea who the hell that guy was.
So what were you confused about?
I'm confused on what
But you did a great job doing it.
No idea who the hell that guy was.
Pretty good background.
Oh, my God.
No idea who the hell that guy was until Colin mentioned it, that we were going to take a listen to it in the past segment.
Geez.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to be quite honest here. Why was he yelling at Brett? Because he flopped? Was there a flop?
The last sack Michael Strahan got to get that sack record in 2001 was on a bootleg. They showed the play on ESPN today. A bootleg that Michael Strahan blew up, and Favre kind of just fell to the ground, gave him the sack because he was about to get blown up. And instead of throwing it away, he probably had an opportunity to kind of just hit the ground, protecting his body. Strahan got the sack. That's how he broke the record.
Favre wasn't playing in 2021, and neither was Strahan.
No, 2001.
Okay.
2001.
All right.
2001. I like that. Hold on, guys.
Hold on. I heard 2021. I'm like, wait a minute.
2001, that's when that happened.
Okay.
And it was to break Gastineau's record, which is held for like 20 years prior.
Okay.
So I guess he had a problem with the fact that Favre, he said you fell down for him. I like how he doesn't say him. He doesn't say Michael Strahan. He goes him like he's the boogeyman. And he who must not be named.
Was this for a single season?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
22 and a half sacks.
Thank you.
So he breaks the record off of that, and he's now blaming Favre. Favre was nervous. You could tell.
Oh, he was, dude. He was.
Yeah, it looked like a scene from a movie where he's going to open a trench coat or something. That guy was freaking him out.
If that's not concerning about the degenerative brain damage.
No, I was about to
NFL
say.
Players.
I hope he gets help because he sounds like he's sick.
Sounds like a troubled person.
It sounds like he's got.
Isn't that bizarre?
I rewatched the play. Yeah, he laid down so he didn't get killed.
He was going to get blown up.
It's 2001. He was about to get murdered.
Exactly. There's no quarterback rules there, brother.
Oh.
That was before the Tuck rule as well.
Oh my God,
that was
unbelievable.
Boys, that was before the Brady rules.
So they're going to show that, I believe, during the. That's how you market. That's why that's good. That they show that little clip, and now there's a bunch of intrigue around the New York Sack Exchange, that 30 for 30 that's coming out about that Jet defense. They don't care about the Jet defense. They just want to see more context around his viewpoint of Favre and Strahan and where his record stands in the realm of NFL history, because it's still a terrific NFL record, and they're still within, I think, the top 10 all time in terms of team sacks in a year, that Jet team. So the fact that he is so bitter and so honestly bizarre in his perspective on Brett Favre, not even Strahan, Favre of all people, very, very odd situation.
Like I said, I hope everything's all right with him because it sounds like it's not.
Good for Brett Favre getting in the news for not the welfare stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's not what people are talking about right now.
They didn't let Brett Favre talk because if he started talking, then it would be concerning.
Was he swindling people in Mississippi? Did I see that right?
It was Minnesota.
Minnesota, he was swindling people.
It's all alleged. There's still outstanding stuff, so nothing's guaranteed, but there's suits filed and all that stuff. We don't know.
Yeah, it's all behind closed doors now. I think it's a matter of time. He's trying to keep everything down below. He's been under the radar because of that.
And we learned from Pat McAfee. You use the word alleged. So no, he's not swindling people. No.
Say that again?
Swindling people.
Okay, thank you.
He is allegedly.
He is allegedly swindling people.
Yes.
Okay.
Hard Rock Bet's nice though.
A 2-year, well put, a Tuesday edition of Russo and Rizzo presented by Hard Rock Bet. Now that we're into holiday season, it's the season of giving. What's better than giving than receiving from Hard Rock Bet? It's time to get started over on Hard Rock Bet. Download it today on the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, and of course, hardrock.bet online to get started today. Even if you're not a big-time sports gambler, if you don't like putting a lot of money into gambling, that's sort of the type of person that I am when I like to sprinkle a little action on games. Put together a parlay. You could bet as little as $1 in Week 8, the final Sunday in October on National Tight Ends Day. A Florida bettor turned $20 into $150,000 on a parlay, betting 8 different tight ends just to score anytime touchdowns in their respective games on National Tight Ends Game. It's the type of day, it's the type of bet that makes you think, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that? But it's on a parlay. Did it on Hard Rock Bet. So can you. Get started today. The NBA's back. College hoops betting is back. Easy to get started, easy to get involved, whole lot of fun. Try Hard Rock Bet now, get up to $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. That could be a parlay, a prop, the over, whatever you like to bet in a game you choose. Started by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager, terms and conditions apply. Concerned by gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. Big thanks. We'll be back at it tomorrow, the Wednesday edition. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
James Madison and WKU are going bowling in Boca. Experience the 11th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th at FAU Stadium. The James Madison Dukes and the WKU Hilltoppers battle for gridiron glory. FanFest starts at 2 o'clock with kickoff at 5:30 p.m. Get your tickets at BocaRatonBowl.com. James Madison and Western Kentucky in the 11th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th at FAU Stadium.
It's wintertime, which means you need to get ahead of all the bowl game action and plan out your weekends. It's time to make Twin Peaks your headquarters to watch all your favorite teams, your favorite games, the bowl games, and the NFL playoffs. Whether your teams win or lose, you still wind up a winner with eats, drinks, scenic views, and Twin Peaks 29-degree ice-cold beers. Enjoy some made-from-scratch favorites like the mozzarella bites, their famous burgers, their unbelievable wings, while enjoying all the action. You already know I love the Billionaire Bacon. Get you some. Can't make it for all the games? That's fine. Come for the man-size $5 happy hour drafts and enjoy select appetizers as well. And you don't want to just watch football. Twin Peaks has you covered for all the fights. The official UFC fight headquarters. Never pay a cover to watch any UFC, MMA, or boxing ever. Fight headquarters, Twin Peaks. Now you know. Twin Peaks, the ultimate guy sports lodge. Eats, drinks, scenic views, 29-degree beer, made from scratch favorites, and your UFC fight headquarters is Twin Peaks.
Make poker playing hours work for you at Harrah's Pompano Beach Casino's No Limit Hold'em. $1 million break the bank. Play at any qualifying table to garner 150 hours and qualify for January 29th Break the Bank tournament. Finish at number one for your shot to win $1 million. Play poker at Harrah's Pompano Beach Casino. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Powerline Road, Pompano Beach at the Pomp. Must be 18 or older for poker and simulcast. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Hey, golf fans, Colin Russo here. Looking to improve your game? Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience, is now open in Boynton Beach. With 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio, Flagstick helps players at all levels up their game. Get lessons from experts, try the latest clubs, or just come up for a round in the simulators. You can track your stats and see real improvement. Flagstick is where serious golfers and beginners find their edge. Bring your friends or family and enjoy golf like never before. Visit flagstickgolfperformance.com to book your session.
What's up, y'all? It's Theo Dorsey, and the holiday season is here. You can give back the gift of golf at the park in West Palm Beach. For every $100 gift card you purchase, the park will donate $10 towards their Christmas For the Path program. If you're looking for the perfect gift for the golfer in your life, or even yourself, now is the time. Enjoy great golf while making the season brighter for kids who need it most. Swing by the park and let's tee up some holiday cheer together. The park is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit SignoramawPB.com.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.